Okay. So, how y'all doing? My name is Jasa, and this is just Jasa. So, every Saturday, I come on here and I talk to you guys about a topic that I've obviously designated for the week. This month is going to be all about marriage, right? So, I'm going to start by saying this. Y'all got me in trouble in my last video because apparently my husband ain't know half the things I talked about in the video. So, that was a completely different conversation. But this video, I'm pretty sure he knows about. I'm sure he knows where I'm going to go with it. It is titled Role of the Man. I came across this topic after having an experience with work and my transition, things that I've shared with you guys in the past, as far as going from a career woman to a mother to now a housewife. And that journey has been absolutely wild. But this video, I feel like, is super important for those women that were raised by single moms, for the independent driven women, for the ones that are having a hard time transitioning, and things of that nature, just understanding where we can put our men. I know that sounds crazy, y'all. Follow me. But with this topic, I'm super excited to once again share my experience, share where this topic came from, as well as really just dive into how we can kind of get through this together, y'all. You already know nothing I talk about on here is an end game for me. This is something I'm constantly going through, I'm constantly trying to figure out. So we are in this together, okay? As always, make sure you subscribe, turn on your notifications, like, share, comment this video. Make sure you come back on our next Wednesday for our following SheEO. I will make sure I share all of her information on our page, so make sure you tune into that, as well as come back next Saturday for our following marriage topic. As always, I am super excited. I'm super appreciative of everyone that comes on here and watches my videos. You guys are doing amazing when it comes to supporting me. I like you get a pat on the back for that. But you get on a pat on the back for that because I'm super appreciative. I know it sounds kind of weird. It is what it is. My point is I'm appreciative and I wouldn't be able to do this without you guys consistently following me. So, enough of my rambling. Let's jump into the topic. Okay, so let me start by saying this. I was raised by a single mom, right? Most of my life. And with this, right? So I always reference this class I went through or a seminar with Coach Chanel. Okay, I reference this a lot because it's something that I learned I really, really, really need to implement in my life, which was the femininity journey. Okay, and with this journey, I learned so much about myself. Now, it was only 2 days. Now, you can learn a lot in 2 days. Can you imagine what you can do when you actually know what you need to work on? Wild. Okay, so here I am, right? The role of a man. I have spoken on this plenty of times. And I speak on it so much because, again, it's something I'm consistently working through. And it's something I feel like as women, especially women of color, we have a hard time with this. We need to realize what the role of our man is, okay? And this isn't saying like, oh, you need to fall back. It's not saying you need to be submissive. It's not saying any of that. However you take it, that's how you take it. I'm gonna just share my experience. So for me, my biggest thing has always been being very defensive and being hesitant to allow my man to be the man. Okay? For example, I like to argue, right? But I don't like to argue. I want to be heard and I want to say what I want to say, and that's the end of it. And my husband is a man, okay? So me and my husband, we going at it. Instead of me just saying, okay, there's another way for me to say it, and there's also no need for me to try and continue to be the man in my own relationship, okay? So, with me going through these realizations, again, I didn't realize how serious it was until I took that seminar and I'm like, she got a point. She pointed out things that I can digest, I can comprehend. So here I am going at it with my man instead of acting in my feminine nature and just kind of allowing the conversation to flow, allowing it to be more of me being myself, being vulnerable, being in my emotions. I decide I'm going to be more dominant. And obviously, this is my first testament, I could say, towards the role of my man. Okay, so that's my first one, right? So that's what I'm gonna start by saying. This video I feel like is important because, again, as a woman of color that has had different experiences when it came to a single mom, when it came to having that independent nature, I always had the desire to be a wife. That has never not been my goal. I want to be a wife. I love being a wife. It's amazing. However, I didn't know how to be a wife. I still don't know how to be a wife. And there's nothing wrong with not knowing. What I would say is the biggest thing is being open to learning, being open to changing or adjusting. For me, although I had relationships, I've been here, been there, did my thing, I still didn't understand that when I found the one, or I was willing to merge my life with someone, that I would have to adjust. I didn't have to fight my own battles anymore. I didn't have to be combative or test that person anymore to make sure that they were capable of taking care of me. If I'm going to marry you, obviously I have to trust that in some way, shape, or form, you are capable of taking care of me. And I felt like as I went through the seminar with Coach Chanel, I had a huge awakening to see it wasn't just me, right? As women, we are very strong minded. And unless that man puts up this huge front and shows us that that dominance, or that they're capable of doing things that we have done for ourselves for so long, we're not. You might as well be here for a season, not a reason, because baby, you're not going to get in. And that tends to push a man away, right? If it's the right man, he's going to feel some type of way, because why is he here? If he's not needed, as my husband loves to point out, why am I here? And that, again, that is something I had to learn, right? Another thing I had to learn with my husband specifically is what he said he meant. And for me, again, with my experiences, being with people who just said shit out their ass, here I am questioning my husband because I'm like, he don't really mean it, or I'm reading between the lines when there aren't any lines. And that was something, again, I had to learn. And I think that goes back to the role of my man. My man does not speak unless he has something that he needs to say, or that's it. Like, what he said is what he said. And instead of me comprehending that or applying it to our marriage, I always was in my fight or flight mode, right? I'm not willing to be vulnerable. I'm not willing to put myself in his hands and allow him to show me what he needs, or what he sees going for us. All right, that's another example, right? So boom, here we are. I, again, have had a long journey with my career. I met my husband, I was working, I was a teacher. I was just making my first salary, y'all. And I was good, I didn't have to worry about nothing. Man, what? For what? I was good. And we ended up obviously having our child. We got married, we moved, and here I am. I moved, yes. I have the ability to work. I'm pregnant though, so it just went all downhill. But I'm at this point where now I have to trust in my husband. I have to allow him to take care of me. Holy crap. It was crazy. And obviously, I've talked about this before, and in different lights: anxiety, depression, just hard transition, lack of confidence, so many things that came into this. But this segment will really hit on how important it was for me to give my husband that ability to take care of me and my need. And although after having my child, I was able to work, I opted out because I wanted to be a mother. I wanted to take on that feminine role, which is being at home with my kid, at least his first year. This is my first kid. This is his first kid. He has to go to work. And a lot of things that came up with him was he rather make sure that he can take care of all the bills and know that I and our child, myself and my child, are at home safe, taken care of. We're good. And I can solely focus on our kid. That was his perspective. My perspective, yes, I love that. I want to be I want to be at home with our baby. Exactly what I want to do. However, by the third month, I am not only stressed about not taking care of home or being the financial head, that I struggled. And I constantly went back, okay, I need to work. I need to work. I need to find this. I need to do this. I need to apply here. Oh, I have an interview here. And I'm doing all these things. And on one hand, they were failing. this, me being my person that is set in tangible things to equate to value for me, I'm like, I'm overqualified. I have all these degrees. I have all this experience. I am skilled in this and this and this. Here I am trying to get these minor jobs just to, fill the void in myself. And why isn't it going through? Y'all, here's where it changed, right? So from my fifth conversation, venting to my husband about how I want to work, but I can't, and I don't want to work too. I want to be home with our baby. We have so many just moving pieces. What are we going to do? And for the fifth time, he's looking at me like, just be still. Enjoy this time. You don't have to rush. You need to rush when we're like, on the street. But at the moment, we're good. We're in a position to where not only are we taken care of, but I get to enjoy our son. I ain't hear that, man. I ain't hear that, man. I didn't hear that, man. I didn't hear God, right? So this is where my faith comes in. I am a huge believer that, well, I have learned to be a huge believer that, I apologize, y'all, that the man is the voice for God within a marriage, okay? That is something that I have learned over time, that I have been able to adapt, and since being in my marriage, have seen in full effect, okay? So here I am again, trying to figure out how I can help, how I can contribute, how I can fill the void again inside me. And I go out, I apply for something, I get it. But what happens, the schedule doesn't align with where we're at. My husband works overnight. My mom lives almost an hour away. Who's going to watch my baby? It just doesn't work. And unless it was in this strict time frame, y'all, it wasn't happening. So here I am, instead of chopping it up to, okay, maybe this is your sign. This is your sixth job you've gotten, or has fallen off, or just something has happened. Maybe you should listen to that man. So here I am with my tail between my legs, and I am telling my husband again, okay, I think I want to just focus on my kid. I want to just sit here. I want to teach him. I want to love on him. I want to be here. He looks at me. He's like, be still. And that's it. And for me growing up, I've always heard that, just be still, allow it to come to you, just be still. And I always had a hard time hearing God's will. Okay. I always was like, I need God to be straight up with me. Tell me what it is. Don't send somebody else to do it. Don't write a telegraph. I need you to look me in my face and tell me what it is. And something that was huge for me over time was dreams. I would have these most vivid dreams, and in them, I would get every message I could possibly need. Everything, to the point where I was writing it down because I'm like, somebody needs to know about this. These dreams are crazy. And I didn't have a dream about this. I had my husband roll over and tell me, be still. And I heard him, right? For a period of time. I heard him, and again, I was like, okay, I hear you, God. You're telling me to be still. And instead of me hearing the signs of it's not working out, the schedule never lining up the way I needed to, childcare falling through, I didn't hear you. I wasn't looking to hear that. But my husband telling me, that's enough, be still, I had to hear that. I had to take it in. I had to process it. So for me, that was my example that solidified the role of my husband. So here we are. Yes, I have tried to get a new job, and not necessarily for the financial void, but because I wanted to get out. Let's just be real. Mamas that work at home or are at home all the time with them babies, salutes. Because what? That look like Hitler sign. Don't worry about that. But it's serious, y'all. I love my baby. We have the best of times. I love seeing his progression. I love seeing the things that he's learning. I love it. It's amazing. However, I'm tired of the only time I get dressed or put my hair together, and it ain't, is when I'm recording. I'm tired of the grocery store being my big excursion for the week. It does get a little old. However, I have learned that unless it is something I am truly passionate about, there's no need in me putting my time into it and trying to get to that point of it being my sole reason for getting out this house. I'm not doing the short baby positions. No, it needs to be my career again so I can step back into my light and not just something random, right? And again, that's where my husband motivates me and reminds me he already told me that. So for me, I would say the two examples that I have, as well as this main position in my life, has taught me the role of my man. Is understanding that sometimes I may not be able to think the way he does. I am a woman. We are emotional creatures. We think with our heart. We think with everything that comes through our feelings. It's ridiculous. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm tired of it. So when I have that logical position in my life that has allowed me to see a different perspective, I need to take heed and allow myself to experience that instead of trying to find a way to adjust it to suit what I want. And in reality, it's the hardest thing ever, right? Like I said, I was raised by a single mom. She did everything, and I grew up to having both sides. I wanted a family. I wanted to be a wife. I wanted my man to love on me. I did. And y'all, when I tell you, it took so long because I continued to boost my independence and boost not needing a man. I didn't. I had my own money. I could live wherever I wanted to if I really wanted to, but I was living with my mama for free. Why? I was cool. I ain't had no kids. You know what I'm saying? I was in a really good position. So, getting married and having my son, and now here I am in a position, like I mentioned in one of my other videos, I went from independent to dependent. I was a codependent at one point. There were so many positions that I have been in my life that led me back to learning how to be a wife, learning how to allow someone to take care of me and not feeling like I am responsible for everything on the table. And that was an amazing transition for me because not only am I seeing these lessons or obstacles that I had faced in the past kind of unfold and teach me different things or ways to mentally deal with that emotion, I was in a position to really experience my partner and my son. So, let's digest, right? Okay. So, my idea of my man or a man is not only to lead, but is to also encourage and provide insight. Okay. So, when I think about that, I think about how it must be hard for them to lead with someone who's not open to that opportunity. Okay, so we think about, again, single moms. You do it for so long. You were once in a position to have someone to help you do it, and they're gone. Now what? Now are you open to allowing someone to come in and take that position over, and you again put all your eggs in that basket. You trust, you build, you do all these things in order to encourage growth, when in reality it may or may not fall apart. So here you are. If you're going to allow yourself to be in a position with another man or a man, your first man, however it may be for you, remember their role. Remember their role is to provide, protect, do all these things, lead. Let them. If he don't work out, I promise you, you will be okay. And I think that is the biggest lesson I had to learn. Regardless of where me and my husband fall, which will be forever, I will be okay because that's my role. My role is to take care of that kid now. My son is my responsibility. So God forbid me and my husband aren't okay. We will always be okay because that is again where my role shifts back. Okay, not necessarily to be dominant, but to nurture, to again in a way provide. Okay, so that's my first one. Follow me. I know I keep losing it a little bit. I'm losing it. Um, as well as to protect, right? You have to understand that they're not just protecting the home. At least in my experience, they're not just protecting the home. They are protecting themselves from you and protecting you from the outside, okay? We cannot be in a position to constantly bash, put down, harass or question everything they do. Because in the same way, I feel like it is their job to protect us, it is our job to protect their peace. That is something I have come across with so many people I have talked to. We are responsible for their peace. In the moment we allow our differences or our aggravation or our misunderstandings to disrupt their peace, we are now the enemy. And it's weird to think about that, right? As women, we take on a few things before we completely dust you off. We process it as you're the enemy. For men, that's not how that works. It may be short lived. However, they do not take in things the way we do. So when it comes to our man, understanding their role, it doesn't always require us to attack or to critique, right? Sometimes it's okay for them to go through it and fail. My husband has told me that plenty of times. And the simplest things, like let me rearrange it multiple times until I figure out how it's supposed to go. He'd rather sit there and do it through trial and error than for me to step in and be like, oh, well, just do it this way. Let them learn, let them do it. And that is, again, a simple example of him leading, of him just putting his own little sprinkle on it. Let him figure that out. So that is something I can say has added to my understanding of the role of a man. It comes with a lot of trial and error. It's not something that I believe should be, understood right off the rip. You can't take somebody else's experience and apply it to yours. You can't expect you to just know what that person that you're with wants. It is a process. It is a long journey, especially if you're undoing taught behavior. You have to really take the time to acknowledge your triggers. What video am I talking about? Acknowledge your triggers, understand your word choice. I'm sorry, and have a positive mindset. Go into it with the intention of being a partner, not being a stranger, not being someone that is here to attack. You want to always look at it with the mindset that you guys are equals. You guys are here to progress together. And without the intentional marriage, without understanding the role of your partner as well as yourself, it will be a consistent battle against each other. So, for the 15th time, y'all, I want to make sure that this month, like I said, it is about marriage, really is cohesive. Okay, I want to make sure that everything lines up together because these topics are so important. And again, it's something I'm learning. It's not something I know. I am not an expert at all. I am learning in my own marriage and I'm learning in school, y'all. I want to be able to give you guys as much knowledge as I possibly can. Not only from myself, from people I talk to, from experiences that other people have had. I take them, I digest them, and I do what I can to give them back to you. But you already know what it is. I don't really think I have much else to say on this topic. I feel like I ran through it super quick. But as always, you already know if I have more to share, I'm going to share more. But as of now, that is what I understand to be the role of the man. Like I said, I had so many experiences that just kept reminding me of where I should be. And without my man being that voice and having those ears to listen, I don't think I would have been able to break the cycle or try to break the cycle, y'all. But as always, I am super appreciative, and I think that these topics for this month will be really great. I think that we can really grow with it. I, again, want to hear about your experiences. I want to know about your marriage. I want to know your business. Tell me, what did you guys do? How do you process the roles of your partner within your marriage? What does that look like for you? And as always, make sure that you go to our page and comment on the discussion questions. They're up on all of my pages. You have Monday and Wednesday to share your thoughts before our Saturday video, and I will post it within the video and we'll talk about it. But as always, I know I keep repeating myself. I think I'm a little hungry, y'all. Don't mind me. Please make sure you subscribe, turn on your notifications. Come back on Saturdays and Wednesdays. I am working on giving y'all a third day in the week because I know my videos are getting in that sweet spot. Sometimes they're long, sometimes they're short. I know it's a little funky. I plan on sending something out. I'll probably post it. As well as my journal does come out on Saturday. Wait, sorry y'all, I'm recording early. It's today. My journal is released today. It is on Amazon. I have put the link on our website, so please use the link in the description box to go ahead and get access to our journal. Like I told you guys, I will be making clips of me using the journal, show you guys what's in it, as well as some fun tips and things that I did when I was recording or making the journal, okay? So please make sure that you go ahead, order yours. I may run a sale. I don't know yet. We'll see. Let's see how y'all like it first. And we'll go from there, y'all. I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. Again, make sure that you go follow our pages, subscribe. And I'll see y'all next Saturday. All right. Bye.